Joey DeFrancesco is unarguably one of the greatest jazz organists to ever play the instrument. I mean, he was playing with Miles Davis when he was a teenager. He has released more than 30 albums as a leader and dozens more as a sideman with some of the top musicians around the world. Not many people know that he also plays the trumpet. But even fewer people know that he plays the saxophone too. I had the honor and great pleasure to meet Joey for the first time at the NAMM show in June. Not only is he a musician of the highest caliber, but he's also one of the nicest, most humble, and generous cats I've ever met. He very graciously invited me to sit in with him at one of his performances, which was the highlight of the show for me. We sat down to talk about his experience learning to play the saxophone over the last few years, and I know you're going to find this interview very interesting no matter what instrument you play. Joey DeFrancesco.
Hey, Jay.
What a pleasure to meet you at NAMM this weekend.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time.
I'm a big fan of yours, man. Yeah.
Thank you. So, you just told me that it's only been a few years you've been playing the saxophone?
Three and a half years. I started in November of 2018.
Wow. Okay. And so what? Now, but you play other instruments besides the organ and the saxophone now too, don't you?
Yeah, I've been playing the organ for 47 years, you know. But I started playing trumpet when I was around 17 because of being around Miles, you know.
Right.
That made me want to play the trumpet. Wow. And he was very encouraging about it and laid some mouthpieces on it and stuff. So I continued that, but I always loved the tenor saxophone. You know, being an organ player, that was a big part of me learning how to play. My dad had a trio, it was organ, tenor, and drums. And I was always fascinated by the instrument. And also my grandfather played with Dorsey Brothers.
Wow, okay.
So, you know, there were horns around the house. I tinkered with them, I messed around with them, but what really made me want to play was I did a record in 2018. I recorded a record with Pharoah Sanders. And when he stood in front of me and I heard that sound of that horn, and of course I had been playing with Troy Roberts was in my band for 3 years, and Troy is just he's ferocious.
What a great player.
So we would talk about, and I knew about horns because I'm a gear guy, man, like big time. So I'd always ask Cass, what kind of horn, even though I wasn't playing. So I already knew about horns, I knew about mouthpieces, stuff like that. And then after that recording, I called my dad up. I said, Dad, I want to pick up Grandpa's horn, which is he bought it brand new in 1926. It's a Con Chewberry gold plate. It's gorgeous. It's just ridiculous. I love that horn. And he said, well, if you're going to play it, you can have it, you know? So that's where like really started, man. It's all right. We're here at NAMM.
Yeah. That's so, yeah, because it's funny. It made me think of something George Garzone said to me when I was doing my interview with him, how he grew up in a house, saxophone all around, a saxophone household. So sound, he had the sound. It was already there from infancy.
Right.
You know, and like how important that is. You know, just, getting a sound in your head, like when you start, wanting to learn the saxophone and play the music.
Right, and that's the thing, and playing music all those years, and here, and then I've been a big influence on my organ playing with saxophone players.
Right.
That's where when I came on the scene, of course I loved Jimmy Smith and all the cats, right, and I was close to all of them, but my approach, my lines were coming out of like, Sonny Rollins and John Coltrane and Charlie Parker. I mean, that's where that was coming from, and I always adored the sound of Gene Ammons. That sound. I mean, we all loved it, and Charles Lloyd I love too. It's a different thing, man, but it's so sweet, and so I love these guys and I love listening to them. So all that was in here. So I kind of had some sort of idea of what I wanted to sound like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I had no idea what I was doing. I was doing stuff You know, and then I would ask cats, you know, and I'm lucky I'm around all the baddest cats. I could ask them stuff. But, you know, I didn't know, like, certain things I was doing weren't, like, things, well, no, if you do it this way, it's easier. And the one thing that is just more comfortable for me is I don't use any teeth when I blow.
Oh, so you do double lip embouchure.
That's what they call it, right? Double
Yeah.
lip. I just like I'm blowing a whistle.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I like huge tip openings.
Yeah.
I use like
man.
140 is like comfortable, you know.
Yeah. So this is, what is this mouthpiece?
This is a Jody Jazz, the hard rubber, but he specially made it's an
right,
11.
HR Star 11.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I think he makes now. And that was a whole other thing when I hooked up with Jody, and that just opened up a whole new world because I had a bunch of older mouthpieces, some good. I just thought I had to have like you know $1,500 auto links and stuff. I went and bought so much stuff. Some of them were good, but a lot of them I didn't realize it was making it harder for me. And then when Jody, first thing he sent me was a custom dark.
Yeah.
And I went, man, this is so much easier
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
You
This is so
know?
precise
Oh, man.
and well finished.
And then I realized, but I kept getting, then I started going bigger and bigger. And then I was like, wow, this is more comfortable. Like 7 stars and things were closing up. I didn't know what I was doing, you
Sure.
know? And so that's, and then now I'm like into it. And even with the organ, I'm really into all that stuff, right? Like, I'm a technology guy, and I also believe in whatever we have now is what we really should focus more on. Not so much vintage stuff is great, but it had its place. That's
Yeah.
what the Cats played because that's what was available.
They played the best that was there at the time.
Exactly, and I think you know, like this horn too, P. Moriat, it's great. It plays great. Everything works. It's a
Yeah.
new horn. I got to
Yeah.
break it in myself. To take nothing. I mean, I have an unbelievable collection of horns, right?
Sure.
But I like new stuff, man,
Yeah.
because that's what we have. We have a future of musicians that keep playing, and they got to look for these older things. I mean, there's plenty of great stuff
Yeah.
now available.
I agree with you 100%. You know how I feel about that stuff.
Yeah, man.
So, what reed do you play on that with that 11?
That's a Boston Sax Shop 3.
Man, that's a hard setup.
Is it?
Well, I would think I'd be interested in if I could get a sound.
You probably could. You probably could. I mean, as great as you play, you know, that's the other thing. Like, good players, you know what it is, and I don't play all night like you have to.
Yeah.
On a gig, I play 2 tunes.
Right.
So I bet you if I had to play that bad boy up, but although I shed a couple hours a day on that.
Yeah. Well, man, everybody's different, and you're doing the double lip embouchure, and you know what I always tell people: you want, in the end, you want the airstream to be doing the work. So if you're, putting a ton of air, and you're a big guy, so if you could put a ton of air through the horn, and that's working for you, then there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah, and then playing the trumpet, you know, saxophone's a lot to get a sound and everything. It's a lot easier, and
Yeah.
you can lay off too a couple days on trumpet, man.
Right, and you don't
Like-
have the same back pressure and all that.
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago I split my lip playing trumpet, like so I couldn't play, and I was like, oh man, I was worried because I play every day for at least an hour.
Right.
But I put the reed and the mouthpiece on, man, and everything came to
Came
life.
back, yeah.
The trumpet was another story.
Right.
But I play a very free blowing setup on that too.
Right.
You know, I guess I got a lot of wind,
Yeah.
man.
Well, so that's really cool. And you started doing the double lip embouchure on your own, or was that something you thought about?
I just did on my own. I didn't think about it. That was how it worked for me.
Yeah.
I knew that cats played with their
Yeah.
teeth. I tried that,
Yeah.
and the vibration, I don't like the way it
No,
felt.
but that's Johnny Hodges double lip embouchure,
yeah,
Antonio Hart double lip embouchure.
Sonny Rollins.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know about
Yeah,
that.
later, not at first.
Okay.
He had some teeth things,
Okay.
and he switched to double.
Okay.
And who else was, man? A lot of cats were, you know.
Yeah, that gives it another sound and another vibe. And well, for me, I get like a more of like a vintage sound,
Right.
classic sound vibe. Maybe it's just because of the people that I don't know that play that or have that sort of thing going on. But I wonder if that is influenced. I
Maybe.
tried it for a minute.
And I love air.
Yeah.
I like air in the
Yeah.
sound, man. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, there you go. That's more like a vintage thing.
it's fat. You know,
Yeah.
when you go down low, you could play soft and it's still big and fat.
Yeah.
You know, like Ben Webster type,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And you know,
I play 7-star with a 2.5.
wow,
reed, just to give you a.
wow, and it sounds so great, man. See, that's what I mean. It's whatever you're comfortable.
But I used to play a lot harder reeds, and then I adjusted and I said, you know, I'm keep making this easier and easier and easier for me, and the sound adjusts with you as you kind of ease into that, and then you learn how to, the reeds don't last as long as it used to. I used to play on like a 3.5 reed for months.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
these reeds, man. This reed is at least 6 weeks.
Okay, yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
It's the Boston reeds are harder too.
Yeah.
But I really like the Regatti makes
Yeah.
them for him. But I'm really meticulous about my reeds. I clean everything all the time. I've got you know about those little the rejuvenation thing.
I have it. I haven't tried it yet though. I have some sitting on my desk. Tell me about
I
that.
love that, man.
Yeah.
It's got a sponge in it. I mean, you can make the same thing. I was doing something similar to this, but it holds 3 reeds. They're like little holders. It's a round tube thing, and it's got a sponge that you soak with Listerine, and then you drain it out. You put it in there, and it makes like a humid, disinfected atmosphere in there. So after you're done playing, you put them in there. Not only is it keeping your reed kind of ready,
Yeah.
it's also kind of killing any germ.
Bacteria,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we used to do a thing like that when I was at college, studying classical music. We all did a thing like that. Now I just kind of slap them on there and
Yeah.
and change it out when I need a new one. But yeah,
Yeah.
so saxophone is it seems like you're really passionate about saxophone. I follow you on Instagram and you're always posting stuff and you're
Oh
always,
man. Likewise.
yeah, and you're always, trying out new gear and like I know you're passionate about music, but it seems like you're really, full on into the
I am.
all in with the saxophone.
I am. I guess, and I love all the instruments I play equally. I don't really call anything a primary instrument because I love them all.
Yeah.
I'm sure others would beg to differ, but I'm known for my organ playing. That's my thing. But I think the legacy too. My grandfather. I mean, once I got into it, I started thinking about him when I was really little, and him playing, and me playing his horn. I mean, all of those things, and I just. It really speaks to me. I feel like it's the same as the organ. There's something about it, fat, full.
Yeah.
I like them all too. Tenor and alto, and I love your alto, man. That
Oh,
you're man.
yeah.
I played it yesterday. I was
Thank
like,
you.
man, that's kicking.
Thank you, man.
I love that too.
I'd love for you to try the mouthpiece on
I
tenor.
will,
I know
man.
I got an 8-star. I know it's gonna be
that-
small, but
that's
just
good.
just to familiarize yourself with it.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
See it, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get Jody to make you an 11 of it. You
Yeah,
know?
man. Yeah.
So yeah. All right, man. Well, this has just been great, and welcome to the saxophone family and
Man,
world. Man.
I feel official now
We
being
love-
welcomed by you, man.
We are honored to have you, and you've been such a great. You just bringing, injecting this new thing into the saxophone world. Really, like your
Aw.
presence is felt.
Thank you, man. Thank
Crossing
you.
over from, and it's great, man. It's really great.
Well, that's nice of you. I appreciate that, man.
Well, thanks for sitting down and chatting with me, man.
My pleasure, Jay.
Now go check out my interview with a true saxophone legend right here, Mr. George Coleman, who also played with Miles Davis at a very young age.